Zinc is a common natural remedy that's often suggested for those dealing with skin problems, including rashes. There are definitely some major benefits you can get from using it to support angry skin issues, but you'll likely find some major problems with zinc as well, like making you look like a white ghost no matter your skin tone. In today's episode, I'm going to share some new research on why topical zinc could be a great option, where you can find it in skincare, different forms of topical zinc, and what I recommend so you can avoid the biggest problems using it that everyone complains about. Though you probably think of zinc as a supplement to help boost your immune system against a cold or flu, this fascinating mineral can also be used topically to support your skin. It's a really common suggestion within both the eczema and psoriasis communities to help soothe rashed skin, and I've covered recently how it could be beneficial for hidradenitis suppurativa in another video. To add some context at a 2,000-foot level as to why zinc is helpful, it's worthwhile to know that most people with rashes, and especially those whom I work with in my clinical practice, are unknowingly deficient in zinc. As a mineral, it's responsible to support over 300 different enzymes in your body so that they work properly, and it's important for your DNA thanks to its role in what's known as zinc fingers. From the perspective of the skin, zinc is generally considered to be a calming, soothing mineral that is also helpful for itch and histamine issues, which underscores why zinc's sufficiency should always be investigated. Now, topical zinc is far from a new invention. After all, manufacturers were putting zinc into calamine lotion to help with itchy skin problems like poison ivy and bug bites. It's also a key ingredient in more natural diaper rash formulas. And while you absolutely will find people who use diaper rash cream with zinc on their skin, most hate the awful white cast it creates, no matter the skin tone. Plus, the dryness created by higher concentrations of zinc in a product can be helpful for oozy rashes like poison ivy, but aren't great for somebody whose skin is already really dry and angry. So the question that comes to mind here is, how do you find the right form and concentration of zinc so that it does what you need it to do? The first step is to understand how using it topically could be helpful. In a 2020 review published in Skin, the Journal of the National Society for Cutaneous Medicine, researchers shared what other studies had noted about topical zinc used on the skin after Mohs micrographic skin procedures. In one of the papers included in the review, researchers noted healing time for post-surgical wounds was reduced by over a week with the use of topical zinc. Another study noted in this review found a statistically significant decrease in the occurrence of Staphylococcus aureus in the wounds of study participants. Yet while there isn't a mountain of research about topical zinc at this time, the authors concluded that zinc may be a beneficial treatment option to include in post-surgical wound healing, and that it certainly seems to be a skin-supportive nutrient. Meanwhile, a 2023 paper looked at how helpful zinc cream was for bed sores and found it to be more effective than the traditional barrier creams hospitals typically use. In general, I find that clients who use some sort of topical zinc in their skincare regimen often find that their skin feels less angry, less flaky, less itchy, and also notice that cuts and cracks in the skin seem to improve more quickly. And it's a compounded effect if they also have a marked zinc deficiency determined from blood work that is also addressed with oral supplementation. Since the zinc deficiency connection is relatively well noted at this point in time with skin conditions such as eczema, hidradenitis suppurativa, acne, rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis, psoriasis, vitiligo, and even melasma. I cannot stress how important it is to make sure that your body, and especially your cells, have access to adequate zinc, which is, by the way, the second most abundant mineral in your body. And that point is pretty significant because unlike some other nutrients, your body doesn't make zinc. So due to a variety of factors that deplete your zinc stores, including medication exposures like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, corticosteroids, hormonal birth control, and even H2 acid blocking medications used to treat heartburn and even sometimes chronic hives, we have to look deeper because a zinc deficiency can be lingering under the surface. Now, zinc is stored in different areas of your body, but generally found in high concentrations in the skin. So to maintain your stores, you need to consume it regularly, either in your diet or by supplementation. Obviously, food sources like beef and oysters are great, but if your gut is a mess or you're taking other supplements like iron at the same time, that could make it harder for you to absorb zinc. And on the flip side, I know people will call me out if I fail to mention here that taking too much zinc isn't good either. This is because there's a delicate balance that must be maintained between zinc and copper to avoid getting copper deficiency symptoms. There is some clinical use of high-dose zinc with hidradenitis suppurativa. However, anyone following those protocols should have their zinc and copper levels regularly checked and must pay attention to balancing these nutrients nonetheless. But in general, finding the right sort of Goldilocks amount of zinc in both your diet and supplements is important. So does topical zinc also impact your body and cellular stores of zinc? The answer to this depends on the type of zinc that's found in the products you're applying to your skin. Quick story time. As you might know, I love the Z Rebuilder cream that is part of the Quell skincare line that I created. When I was working with the formulation team, I came to learn about the two different forms of zinc, nano and non-nano zinc oxide. One of the master formulators mentioned to avoid using nano zinc in the formula because of the potential risk of causing imbalances in the zinc-copper ratio that I just mentioned. Years ago, companies started using zinc oxide as a key ingredient in mineral sunscreens, and because people complained about the white cast it leaves on the skin, the scientists then started looking for other alternatives, such as the chemical sunscreens that totally disappear on your skin when applied. That was great, except that we now know that chemical sunscreens wash off in the water and can have a seriously detrimental impact on reefs and marine life. Plus, many of these sunscreens also contain other endocrine disrupting chemicals that aren't good for us, which ultimately has led many back to that good old zinc oxide. Since everyone generally agrees that the white cast is a pretty unsightly problem, scientists got to work to develop smaller particles of zinc that would absorb into the skin more like those chemical sunscreens do. And the idea is that these zinc nanoparticles were the magic bullet we were all looking for to have our sun protection that was also reef safe, endocrine system safe, and didn't make you look like a ghost. At this point in time, there's some concern and debate about potential systemic absorption and toxicity from topical zinc nanoparticles found in sunscreen and other topical formulas. Some research says your skin doesn't absorb enough of the zinc to be concerned about this, but there also isn't a large amount of research showing that topical zinc nanoparticles are completely safe, especially for those struggling with a compromised skin barrier or skin rashes. In one study looking at psoriasis-like skin models, nano zinc caused inflammation in the lesions and delayed healing in the mouse models, which obviously is not ideal if that also happens in humans. And another 2022 study suggested the topical nanoparticle zinc could induce skin damage when exposed to UVB light. One caveat to this entire conversation is if you have a known contact allergy to zinc, which is considered rare but can happen, then any topical zinc could be irritating no matter the nano versus non-nano form. So at this point in time, and based on the research I've reviewed, I prefer to stick with non-nano zinc applied to the skin for everyone, but especially those with any type of skin rashes. So back to the question I posed at the beginning of this episode. How do you find the right form and concentration of zinc so that it does what you need it to do? Especially when topical zinc isn't magical and often leaves you grumbling about one or several of the issues with it. For one, no one really wants to use a thick diaper cream on your face or body, right? And forget about the ugly pink vomit-colored calamine lotion. No thank you. Secondly, zinc can end up being way too drying when it's not incorporated into a blend of other moisture-encouraging ingredients. And that's not ideal if your skin is already too dry. Third, zinc in high concentration formulas will pretty much ruin your clothes and any fabric it comes in contact with, including your sheets. The amount of zinc in a diaper rash cream or mineral sunscreen will stubbornly stick to fabrics despite multiple washings. This is, in fact, such a big problem that there's entire message boards online dedicated to people trying to figure out how on earth to get the zinc out of their clothing. Then there's the fact that zinc leaves its signature horribly unattractive white cast on any skin tone, which basically makes you look like Casper the Ghost. If you've struggled with how and when to use zinc topically, let me know in the comments if you want me to make another video on different issues that topical zinc can be really helpful for, how I personally use it, and how I recommend clients use it. So the key is to get the right type of zinc, specifically non-nano zinc, blended with ingredients that counter its tendency to be drying at a concentration that won't leave your skin looking white. And you could certainly try mixing zinc oxide powder with your favorite moisturizer, but it's hard to know if you're getting enough zinc to actually help or too much that would also leave you dealing with the unappealing qualities of zinc. So that leaves you finding a product that gets this formula just right. And while I may be biased, this is what ultimately inspired the DermaQuell Z Rebuilder cream that checks all of these boxes. And that's probably why it's the #1 best-selling cream in our line, thanks to the special blend of botanicals like moringa oil and black seed oil, and that it easily blends into your skin, leaving no embarrassing white cast. It also will not rub off all over your clothing, so you can use it during the day, since no one will have any idea that there is a zinc-forward cream on your skin. And then you can reapply at night for that added boost while you sleep. It's a great option for you if you've been struggling with sensitive skin and rashes, and customers rave about pairing Z Rebuilder with Nourish Butter, especially if you're in the middle of a flare like I experienced after ripping out weeds from my yard a few weeks ago, only to end up with a super rashy, hivey, itchy mess that spread from my hands all the way up toward my elbows. It wasn't until I applied the Z Rebuilder on my forearms that the itching died down significantly, and by morning, the rash was almost entirely gone. And other customers have shared some really incredible ways that Z Rebuilder has helped them too, like GP, who shared that after having mildly eczema-prone skin since infancy that's currently managed with diet, she still gets flare-ups with colds or stress. And she developed these eczema patches on both shoulders that were there for several weeks before trying Z Rebuilder. After 5 days using the cream 3 times a day, her rash had really reduced, and she noted that just after the first day, the roughness and itch had subsided. And we've gotten reviews from those who have psoriasis, dermatitis due to chemo treatments, and more who found this zinc-forward cream really helpful. And one final thought. With any potential new cream or skincare product, it's crucial to do a patch test in a small area to make sure that you don't react to it. So if you want to try out the Z Plus Rebuilder and our other signature creams, you can get a sample kit that contains small packets of each over at getquellkit.com for a low price that includes free shipping. Plus, we throw in a coupon code equal to the full purchase of the kit that you can use towards your next purchase at quellshop.com on anything in our shop, including supplements and masterclasses. Again, get your sample kit at getquellkit.com to see the zinc difference with the Z Plus Rebuilder. For now, I'd love to hear your experience with using zinc topically, both what you found helpful as well as your frustrations with zinc in the comments below this video. I'll put a link in the description to the full blog with all of the other zinc content that I mentioned in this episode, along with the full transcript over at skinterrupt.com/346. Remember to hit that thumbs up if you found this episode helpful and want me to create more like it. And please subscribe to my channel so you get notified when daily content is available. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to diving deeper with you the next time. If you enjoyed this video, you need to tune in to this video next. Then make sure to hit the subscribe button so you get notified as soon as a new episode drops. I'm excited to see you there and dive deeper with you on your skin healing journey.